everyone, it is time for a new project. We have moved out the Enduro Racer that I don't even know if anybody actually got to see, but it was in here for maybe a year, and I had it in the garage for a little while I was getting worked on. It was the Enduro Racer wheelie type, but anyway, it is out of the basement for now, and we brought in Bally's Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is a copycat game, we'll call it, to the Williams Hyperball. So it's not a pinball, it's pinball format, but it is not a pinball machine. It has these lovely joysticks on here, and the joysticks move a turret that's over there. I've got the glass off right now, and they fire pinballs, well, not actually pinballs, they're slightly smaller, down the range here, and you have to hit these targets, and it fires them rapidly. Hence the name, Rapid Fire. Anyway, they thought this is the way that the games are going, and it turns out that this is not how pinball went, but I think this is a fun game, and I think this is a game that my kids are going to enjoy. Now, this particular game I got in trade for Swimmer. Hopefully I have released the Swimmer video by now. But I picked up Swimmer because one of my friends, Troy, wanted it, and Troy had Rapid Fire, and he didn't want it anymore because he plugged in a light bulb and it caught on fire. Yes, that's right, it caught on fire, and he said he was done with it. Well, that smoke came out of it, maybe not an actual fire, but you guys get the idea. So we're not going to turn it on at the moment because it'll catch fire. I'm going to open it up and then we'll see where the smoke is actually coming from. He thinks it's from one of the transformers, so we will dive into that. So here in my hand we have a normal sized pinball. You guys have all seen these before. And below, or next to it now, is the Rapid Fire ball. It's the same size ball that's used sometimes in the miniature play fields, the lower play fields on games. It's also used in Ice Cold Beer or Zeke's Peak, and it is all the same size is also used in the Hyperball. Now, it doesn't use just one of these. In fact, it uses about 84 of them. So we've got a whole bunch of these balls here, and they fire out so fast. It's kind of cool on how they fire out. You hit all these targets as the lights are coming down towards you. That's the idea anyway. Now, I did work on this game down at Troy's place during what we have is our arcade summer camp, and we had it working. We had some power issues. We thought we had it narrowed out, but it turns out that it didn't really get fixed entirely. So we've got to figure that out as well as far as what's going on. It was cutting in and out when you turn the game on. So maybe there's a loose connection or cold solder joint somewhere. That's the idea behind it. Now I know I have the glass off already. I believe this is a smaller piece of glass than it is normally used on a pinball machine. I think it's a little bit shorter, so just keep that in mind if you do break it. Also, it is slightly wider than a normal pinball machine, I believe, because they have the control panel that sits between. They have the wood on the outside. I should probably get a tape measure and verify that before I lie to you guys on camera. That would be horrible. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to remove the glass because it is slightly different. I mean, you still have the idea of the lock bar, except in this case, it's a control panel. Let's go ahead and show you how to get into it. The first thing you're going to need to do is naturally open the coin door. Let's give ourselves some light here. We need to remove this control panel. Inside here are a couple of clips that we need to undo. So we need to undo this one here. Bring that down. And there's also one on the other side that comes down, and now you can get into this thing. Here you're seeing a couple of the motors that run. These are the 50-volt motors that feed the balls into this machine. And before we can actually take out the control panel, we do need to remove or unclip this connector here. And let's go ahead and maybe undo that one-handed. or balance the camera ever so precariously so that it falls. No, let's just put it down here and we'll talk and we'll undo it. There we go. Knock the camera. And here we go. It's undone. Yes, that's exactly what we wanted to do, naturally. Now we can go ahead and take off this control panel. It should just lift straight up. So now that it's unclipped, you can just go ahead and lift this straight up, pulling the wire out that we unclipped with it as well. Let's look at the bottom real fast. If you notice here, on the bottom, we have this pin here. This is important to know where it is. This turns with the joysticks. It pivots, allowing, let's see if we can do this, underneath, upside down. Yeah, see how it turns? That allows it to match up the hole for the turret, which is right here. And this spins back and forth, pivots back and forth, so you can aim where you're going. Over here you can see one of the feeders for the balls as they come up, and allows it to drop in there. And there's just a solenoid down here that fires as quick as you can fire. To lift the playfield up, you can go ahead and lift this up, and I'll show you that as soon as I put this control panel down. Playfield lifts up just like any other pinball machine, except there's not as much to hold on to. You can still get your hand underneath here. And we'll go ahead and we'll lift. And it does not have any sort of rail or hinge that it sits on, so you want to keep that in mind. And underneath, this is the trough that all the balls, as they fall through the holes, land on. They all feed down through here into the bottom. They get agitated and work their way back up the wheel. Now, this is the bottom of the playfield. It's two giant circuit boards with the wedge type bulbs that you just change the sockets out for like they do on all the other pinball machines. But it's a total light show as far as how this operates. The switches that you're hitting go along the perimeter of the playfield, and they're all operated by optos. There's no physical switches. I mean, there is a switch, or gate, that it hits that moves through an optical sensor. But after that, you're not, dealing with a lot of the switches. They would take a royal beating. Normally, there's screws that hold this playfield in. Clearly, they are long gone. There are two holes. One of them is over here, and that is where there's some pins on the playfield that do need to line up. Here are the pins. They need to just line up in those holes. It'll sit right there. Here is your connector for the turret. You just want to make sure that's connected and everything operates through there. We're going to go ahead and put this down. There are a couple small sleds or skis that it slides along, but that's that. And we're going to go, I got to reach back there. As you look, there are some wires that get caught up. They just need to be fed through. Now we can finish lowering this playfield. It's relatively easy to take off any of the covers. We'll do that in a minute. We'll take a look. There's just these little rubber stops on them, little white rubber stops that remove this piece of plastic. As you can see, I've already moved the one in the back off because I was worried that if I was going to be tilting this thing up and down, I would crack that plastic. Let's see if we can remove this piece of plastic to see what's underneath. There are just these little white rubber things. I think they should just come off. Yeah, they just pull right off. They're everywhere, which means I'm going to lose them. At least they're white and easy to see. But it makes accessing this a lot faster than a pinball because it's rapid. Naturally, it's a rapid fire, not pinball thing. I can't get this one in the back. great. It's too hard to reach. Oh, got it. Got a bunch. Here they are. 2 more, and this plastic should come off. We'll do the easy one that's not holding down because the plastic looks like it's broken, perhaps? Oh no, maybe not. 1 more. Should have had 2, 4, 6, 8 of them? Yeah. All right. It's off. And we can see that we have all these gates here doing, what is this? What does this do? Does this just hold things in place? So that they don't, yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. This one's like off. Why? Who knows? Anyway, that's that, and there's nuts holding them on. And looks like there's little opto boards behind there. I will take the camera off and we will look closer. Guys, remember how I said it was going to drop one of those little white rubber things? Totally did. It fell down, it rolled all the way down, it went in to the hole, and it fell into the trough here. So I rolled the ball down, and I caused it to roll, and it's right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there. I've almost got it. I'll get it out. But yeah, I totally dropped it. So this could be you if you drop them on the playfield. They're going to roll all the way down and get caught. So yeah, don't do that. Now that we got those little rubber things back, here are the gates again with the plastic removed. And there it is with the plastic. As you can see, let's see if we can shine a light in here. Ball comes in, it hits this gate switch, optical gate switch here. And if we look on the back here of the switch, here's the switch. Let's see if we can get behind it. I'm not going to remove it. To remove it, you need to just undo this nut and this nut, and it'll take off this whole assembly. And on the back side is the opto board with the connector, and there are a couple screws there that hold it in as well. So if you have things that aren't reading, chances are you could probably have dirty optos, or you could have a bad opto, and also check those headers on there. These things do take a beating, I would assume, but there you go. Not much to it otherwise, and there's a whole bunch of them back there as well. They're actually not too badly worn, surprisingly. So this playfield, and I need somebody else who's got a rapid fire to tell me if this is the case. This playfield has plastic on it. It's got like a little thin layer of plexi. You can see it over here on the edge where the holes are. I don't know if this is supposed to be that way or not, because there's definitely wear marks on this machine underneath, and some, maybe it looks like the adhesive is coming up or somebody spilled something on it. But it does a nice job of protecting it. I just don't know if this is the original one or not. Maybe somebody else knows if this is the case on the blur. There it is, the rapid fire. But we'll go ahead and we're going to put everything back together, and then we'll start working to figure out where this power problem is. Because I can't turn this game on. It's going to burn up the arcade. We don't want that.